Welcome, investigator. Evil is on the rise. Crime is escalating. Our mission is to eliminate the crime by exposing evil, examine why it manifests, and highlight the brave souls that confront it every day. Join us as we work together to bring justice to every victim. Welcome to All Things Crime. Here's your host, Jared Bradley.
So before we came on, you were talking about the Second Amendment and what the Second Amendment is actually all about. So why don't you go into that really quick?
Well, first of all, people are ignorant, and so is our congressional delegations, about what the Second Amendment is all about. It's amply written about in the Republican papers and such by the founding fathers that the Second Amendment is not about self-defense. It's not about hunting. It's about maintaining the power in the hands of the people against a tyrannical government. That's it. And you will never see a congressman speak to that issue. If he did, the press would never report it. And if they did, they'd be fired. It's that bad. The ignorance on the level of what the Second Amendment is all about, it's about defending against the tyrannical government, in which we now have. It's absolutely out of control. And so every state, and I'm writing about it in my third book, every state or every sheriff should be forming a militia to protect that county. And a militia was designed and purposely allowed in that Second Amendment to maintain a militia. The right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. And the militia was highly spoken of because it was what defended the country in the Revolutionary War. And a militia of the people will keep the government in check. When the government fears people, there is liberty. When the people fear government, there is tyranny.
Yeah, well, you can look at other countries around the world, and every time they give up their ability to defend themselves,
there's wholesale slaughter.
Yeah, it's within 10 to 20 years. There's some kind of a major government takeover, and then the people become just basically, I mean, if they're allowed to continue to work in a free environment, but it's still kind of a form of slavery, because they're really not free to do whatever they want to do. And yeah, I agree. It's a weird.
It's the one amendment that protects the whole document. Mm-hmm. Without that, the document would be gone. There would be no freedom of speech, as they are so amply annulling right now. There would be, all of the amendments would fail if it wasn't for that one amendment. It protects everything. And I emphasize that throughout the book with many quotes, many examples. It's a good read for a book. It would take a person 2 days to read it, but it's very educational, and it's interesting from the standpoint that I use personal anecdotal stories to highlight the philosophies and the rights of the people that I try to expound.
Yeah, I agree. I've ordered my copy, and I can't wait till wait till it gets here. It's going to be one of my first airplane books. I travel a ton, and so when I do, again, traveling as much as I do, you run out of movies to watch, and so.
Well, you have to check out my second book, and the third one's on the way, but it's a novel.
Okay.
And I get involved with law enforcement issues, but it's called Sasha, My Guardian Sasquatch. Now, it's an unusual subject. It's an unusual subject, but Sasquatches are big in our part of the country. Mm-hmm. And it talks about a young sheriff that was just elected, encounters one up in the mountains, and he saves it because it's trapped. This creature comes back to save him. He's battling against a Mexican cartel that's bringing in the illegals and drugs from the north, which is happening. And it's a love story. It's a spicy love story, but not vulgar. Let's put it that way. And it's designed to
love story with the sheriff and the Sasquatch.
No. A beautiful gal from a beautiful lady. Yeah.
Wow, that would be spicy. All right.
Yeah, But anyway, so and I'm writing the sequel right now, which incorporates different themes such as the invasion from the South and pedophilia, the child trafficking going on. So
Oh,
I write around these themes a
yeah.
good novel story, and so everybody is enjoying it. The comments I'm getting on the novel, especially. I mean, the first book is nonfiction and it's more educational, but
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
But the fun starts in book two.
All right. Well, I will definitely look at that one as well.
It's
I'm excited about it. That's
it's listed under my Amazon account, and it's sold
okay.
worldwide. It's being sold worldwide through. We've had purchases all over. Not a big seller yet. I mean, it just came out this last year with the
Yeah.
second book, but like everything, it takes time.
Well, yeah. Everything takes time. I mean, getting this podcast up and running, it takes time. Anything that's worthwhile takes a lot of
Right.
effort and it takes a lot of time. And but yeah, you'll get there. If it's a good book, it'll eventually sell a ton. I've It's really interesting. The last, I don't know, 3 or 4 guests have all been authors,
Oh,
and law enforcement that have turned authors, and you know it's you guys have unique experiences that you bring a different flavor to books that I think a lot of people really enjoy. So it sounds like a pretty good combination.
well, it covers themes that most people don't even see, and it's truthful. And
Hmm.
that's where, in a lot of what we talk about, is people just don't understand what a law enforcement officer goes through.
Yeah.
The training, the incidences, like the common saying, law enforcement is 90% boredom punctuated by 10% sheer terror. It's true.
Yeah.
When the very first chapter of the book of Deputy is it's called 911 Hang Up, and it talks about my going in the middle of the night to check out what happened. And I tried to do it in the present sense where the reader is following me and the feelings I'm having as far as what am I getting into? Is it a woman being held captive, or is it a suicide, or it's so it kind of hopefully grabs the reader right away to say, hey, I never knew those guys went through stuff like that. And that's the idea, to kind of bring to the public that perspective.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think something that would be similar maybe is, if you get a call from a really close family friend and the guy basically says, "Hey, I you're my buddy. I need you over here before I do something really drastic to my wife." And, if even though you're friends, you still have no idea if this guy is just, he's just the stress has just got to him and he just can't handle it anymore, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of it. But you know, I think the escalation from there, when you include the law enforcement, is you guys are obligated to actually do something if you see that there has been a crime committed, and a lot of times, especially if there's a 911 call, then many times there's going to be a crime committed, and
Right.
you can't just walk away. You have to do
Well,
something about it.
we see it all. I mean, as a deputy, the uniqueness about a deputy, the sheriff is the only elected official, law enforcement official in the country.
Hmm.
He is supreme in his own county. Nobody can come in his county and arrest him. FBI, state, city, no one. He has the power over, he's the most authoritative person in that county, and nobody can touch him. If he leaves the county, that's a different story. But in his county, he's sovereign. And that was substantiated in a case in Wyoming back in 97 by Dave Mathis, the sheriff of Bighorn County. He sued the BATF and IRS for violation of civil rights in his county without, going in, taking people's stuff without warrants, and he won. And anytime a sheriff doesn't want any agency in his county, he can kick them out or arrest them.
Mm.
People don't know
Well,
that.
Yeah.
All other law enforcement chiefs are appointed. Only the
Mhm.
sheriff is elected.
Yeah. Well, to me, that kind of adds another layer of protection, really, because, you get a good, strong sheriff that knows his responsibilities and his rights and his obligations. And if he's running it basically according to the Constitution, and, I can name a number of sheriffs, and even the Sheriff Smith here in Utah County, where I live, I love the guy, but he's all about the rights of the citizens. And this is one of the best run counties, I think, in the entire country. And it's huge, but the crime is low. And you know what? I wouldn't ever worry about, shouldn't say ever, but as of right now, no, I don't have any fears of a deputy, that eh, violating my civil rights. I think they're run really well. But if they can, like you said, they have more authority than the federal government in that county, then that's another way, just like the Second Amendment is made for to keep a tyrannical government from rising. I think a sheriff and a county would enable that county to be almost like sovereign against the state and the country as well.
Well, for instance, Washington State under Inslee is passing a lot of unconstitutional gun rights laws. And many sheriffs have says, we're not going to enforce those.
Mhm.
They're unconstitutional. And they can thwart, even if a police department tries to do it, he can usurp their authority and say, no, you're not going to do that.
Mm.
He's king. He's king in his county, and he will decide what gets prosecuted or arrested or whatever. Nobody can touch him.
Well, that also tells you how important elections are.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
they are.
I think we've all learned in the last 10 years how important even school boards are. Electing the right people to a school board, or electing the right sheriff, electing the right city councilman. That getting the men and women that actually believe in the country and believe in the freedoms and believe in the Constitution, getting those kind of people into the right positions, even at the local level, is so critical that you just can't ignore it and pretend that it's not something that's just absolutely critical.
If this country is going to be saved, it's going to be done on the local level. It can't be done
Yeah.
on the national. The national
Yeah.
is so corrupt. We saw in the last election how corrupt that was and how stolen it was. How do you stop that stuff?
Mm.
You can't, not on a local basis, but you can elect good people like sheriffs, and I emphasize them, number one, county commissioners, so on and so forth. At least in your one's area, you can try to maintain the wall of defense against this corruption.
Yeah. Well, the more power you have, the more easily corruptible. So you got to be really careful with that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
well, Alfred, tell us again what the names of your books are, so people that are interested can go order them up from Amazon.
Right. Let me just kind of show them. The first one that I wrote is called Deputy, Know Your Rights. It's available Amazon ebook, hardcover, softcover, and now soon to be audiobook. The second one is called Sasha, My Guardian Sasquatch, which is a novel. It's a very good novel, but it brings in, as they say, the problems we're having with illegal immigration and drugs from the north. The sheriff battles against a Mexican cartel and is almost killed. So it's a powerful ending with a good love story, and it involves an entity that is so mysterious and secretive that you don't see much writing about them, but they are there. And I have personal secondhand evidence to the fact, at least in our county, up in Stevens County, in Ponderay County, that they've been seen multiple times. So it's a valid theme, but incorporates, the novel style of writing. So I think the people would really enjoy that. The third book that I'm about halfway through continues the sequel of Sasha, but it involves, as I say, the invasion from the south of young male age military people, but also the influx of unaccompanied minors and the child trafficking that goes on. So I
Yeah.
try to incorporate current themes into a good story.
That child trafficking just drives me crazy.
It's
I
sad.
I think about 4 months ago, interviewed Paul Hutchinson, who is the executive producer of the movie The Sound of Freedom,
Oh yeah,
and some
I
of his
know it.
stories,
Oh, they're
man, it's
horrible.
just incredible. So yeah, child trafficking to me, I think that topic alone can make or break a society. And if we don't get that under control, we won't survive as a country.
Well, this whole Jeffrey Epstein crap, that guy was a Mossad agent that just entrapped
Mm,
everybody in power with anything from, illegal prostitution down to child abuse and child traffic or incidences. And it's just hideous to think about. A normal, loving parent has a hard time conceiving of what these people do.
yeah, I agree. And yeah,
And
I
that's what I
encourage.
try to cover in the subject of the third book. And it's
Okay.
powerful. It really it's a powerful book from many standpoints. So
Well, I'll be very interested to see your perspective. So,
okay.
all right, Alfred. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on the show, and yeah, I will definitely be giving you some feedback on the book when I get a chance to read it.
Well, I always appreciate it, and I appreciate the time. It's been fun. I always enjoy a good podcast with people that understand law enforcement, and it's important. It's an
Yeah.
important subject for people to know about.
Well, I have to say, I have one of the best audiences I think anywhere. So,
Um,
love them. Yeah, they're great people. They give me lots of feedback, and
Please
um,
buy my book.
all right.
Or
Thank you, Alfred, and have a great day.
as well, and enjoy the new year.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thanks for joining us. Your attention today brings us one step closer to exposing and eliminating the evil that brings crime to our communities.